welcome to Area Shores Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Please keep them in English if you can. Put them in English so everybody can read them fair and square, or else I'll have to delete them, and I'm sorry about that. Otherwise, welcome to the channel, and I appreciate you guys very much. Well, in the rush to save the children, we have new gun laws on proposal that will probably be passed, caving into Joe Biden and the gun grabber extremists. The people that are disappointed the most, but not unexpected, are the Rino Republicans subverting our Second Amendment rights. These people have to go. They have to be out of Congress. Some of them are voluntarily leaving the Senate because they are Rino Republicans and they can't stand Trump's policies for exposing them for who they are. One of the things that I just don't understand, but I can clearly see it, is these senators on the conservative Republican side supposedly cave to the liberals whose agenda is to eliminate all guns. This part of it says you cannot get an AR unless you're 21 years old, which they have to have a carve out for military. And if you're going to send an 18-year-old to handle a weapon of mass destruction and he goes to war, imagine what it's going to be like when he says, wait a minute, I cannot legally drink while I'm in the military, and now I cannot buy a gun that I use to defend my country with, but that's just a little bit of it. When they start with the ARs, they will continue on to handguns because 70%, over 70% of the murders in this country are committed by handguns, not ARs, not shotguns. 70% of the murders are committed by handguns. So the next focus will be, hey, we have to eliminate the handguns to save our children. But none of them have stepped up over Chicago, who black on black murders averaging 60, incidents a weekend. Not one of the Democratic senators say, hey, let's take a look at Chicago. What can we do there? No, it's take away the law-abiding citizens' guns, and I'm quite frankly sick of it. The succession to disarm America is progressing rapidly with the help of these Republican senators. Mitch McConnell, sewer dweller. Roy Blunt, another longtime sewer dweller. Richard Burr, North Carolina. He's going to be ousted for corruption. Another longtime sewer dweller. John Cornyn, Texas, just won re-election, but he has turned Rino Republican because he can't stand Trump. Another longtime sewer dweller. Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. He used to be very good. I don't know what's gotten into him. I don't know who's gotten to him, but now he has become a sewer swamp rat and voting with the Rino Republicans and the liberal Democrats. Bill Cassidy, Louisiana. Roy Blunt is out of Missouri. Richard Burr is North Carolina. Susan Collins. This is the original swamp rat out of Maine, who is so old she just can't stop shaking her head, but she will vote with the Democrats on everything she can possibly do and get away with it. She's another Rino Republican out of Maine. Susan Collins needs to go. Lindsey Graham. Stay tuned, Lindsey Graham. Do nothing on the judicial inquiry about the Russia collusion delusions. Mr. Stay tuned. We'll get to the bottom of this. Rhino Lindsey Graham out of South Carolina. Rob Portman here in Ohio, the senator. He is the ultimate betrayal of everything that we stand for here in the United States. Originally, when Rob Portman was elected, he swore to uphold the Defense of Marriage Act. He was all on board to sign it and say we have to keep that sacred. We cannot allow that to be taken away from us until he found out his son was a homosexual, and then he did a flip-flop and said, well, on second thought, maybe that's a little bit harsh, but fortunately for him, it never came to a vote because the Supreme Court made up a law, and he didn't have to vote on that. But him and John Kasich, best buddies, and he's another Rhino Republican who also voted to impeach Trump. He's not running for re-election, the coward, and he is going to do as much damage to our constitutional rights as he can before he goes. He's also another big advocate of sending our tax dollars to Ukraine. Why? He has family there. He has interest there. Doesn't matter to him. He'll sell us out in a heartbeat, and he already has, and I've already sent him I don't know how many emails. He never replies because he's a gutless wonder. But he's not running for re-election, thank goodness, because the last time I told him, I said, you might as well put a D behind your name because you're done. He must have taken that advice, thank goodness. Mitt Romney, another traitor-in-chief out of Utah, Rhino Republican, ultimate swamp dweller and betrayer. Tom Tillis, oh, here's a beaut. This guy's a real beaut. He's another one from North Carolina. He was a rhino, and then he begged for Trump's endorsement with the promise that he'd place America first. Well, that was an outright lie, and it's turned into who he really is. A Rhino Republican swamp dweller that is out for himself and to betray America. He's also working with John Cornyn for amnesty for 2 million illegal immigrants. Tom Tillis and John Cornyn working with the Democrats to give amnesty to illegal aliens and give them all the benefits. There's a real beaut right there. North Carolina, you got a real problem with rhinos. Pat Toomey, Pennsylvania. Here's another swamp dweller. Voted to impeach Trump, not running for re-election, the coward. Voted to take away our Second Amendment rights. And what do they agree to? Raising the age of purchasing an AR-21. But the most hideous thing about this bill, which is what the Democrats want, is the National Red Flag Law. And I've explained it to you before, but in brief, you can have a gun in your possession, legally owned, legally purchased. I'm talking all legal. Gone through all the background checks, done everything step by step. And somebody could whisper to the cops or the ATF or the FBI or somebody that's in authority, and I'll use myself as an example, and hey, Greg has this gun and he's out there making threats against his neighbors and the government and the president, and he's doing all this kind of stuff. All of this is based on a rumor, an innuendo that I could be harming someone of importance or the missus or my next door neighbor. Just a rumor could bring the cops to the doorstep without a warrant, break into the house, arrest me on just a suspicion, and confiscate every weapon in the house, not giving them back to me. And I have to get a lawyer to retrieve my weapons, which are legally owned, which could take up to 2 years, and I could be held without bail for 72 hours to prove that I'm not a mental case or anything else. Without a trial, without a lawyer, they could hold you against your will. And these traitors are all in favor of it. The next step will take your handguns, and if you don't think this doesn't enter into the preparedness factor, you are wrong. Because once they disarm America, your First Amendment speech is right there behind it. And they just had another hearing. A whistleblower came forward about the Ministry of Truth that liar Mayorkas said, well, I don't know anything about it. It's not a functioning thing. It's just to dispel rumors about the vaccine. It's to dispel rumors, misinformation about COVID. It's to dispel rumors about Border Patrol. Josh Hawley exposed it with the help of a whistleblower, showing documentation. They are working with the White House, who is working with big tech to censor your free speech across the networks on subjects they do not want you to talk about. And if you cannot back up your First Amendment right with your Second Amendment right, we are in tyranny. This is one of the things you are prepping for, or should be. Those people need to be contacted. If you're in this state or even interested in preserving your Second Amendment rights, Mitch McConnell the turtle, he needs to go. He's the ultimate swamp rat. Roy Blunt out of Missouri. Richard Burr, he's not running for re-election because he's corrupt. John Cornyn out of Texas. Come on, Texas. Get a hold of this sewer dweller. Bill Cassidy, another one from Louisiana. Susan Collins from Maine. She's deaf anyway. Lindsey Graham, you got problems, bud. You're not going to get re-elected. Rob Portman, not running for re-election, but he's gonna make sure he stabs us all in the back. Mitt Romney, Tom Tillis, and Pat Toomey. If these people are in your state, contact them and tell them that they are the traitors that they are. Call them out on it. Monday morning never stops. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. I hope you find this helpful. This is information you really need to know. They are out to silence your free speech. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Get yourself right with God. Get baptized, submerged in water. In the name of Jesus Christ. Greg out.